guys, what do you say we get into some news?
Sounds good.
Should we switch over to different content?
Oh, so cringy.
So the clear and obvious topic that we have to talk about this week. You know what the bummer is? We had our podcast the day before.
I know. I thought about that too.
So I feel like we're way late to the game.
We need to talk about it.
Yeah, we barely talked about it. So
hold on, guys.
So while I feel like...
Can you hear the ice?
Is it HD?
There's no.
Is it cold?
There's no ice in this.
So while I feel like we might be not
Nintendo.
late to the game, I think we've had enough time to sort of marinate on the news that we saw during the conference, this sort of news that's come out afterwards,
Get
some of the
reactions.
finer details that have come out about the console. So I sort of just want to get everybody's reactions to the presentation and sort of let's break it down, by segments, right? So let's talk about the hardware, just the device itself. Like, what were you guys feeling? Like, what were your impressions from the presentation?
So we were actually talking about this we were like in a Discord chat while we were watching the presentation, and you guys didn't have this feeling, but I did, so I'm going to share this. I feel like it's unique. When he pulled it off of the screen, and he was like showing the slide that the controller, the Joy-Con would go into.
Yeah.
It looked super, like the plastic looked really like chintzy, like you could see the molding on the side, and it didn't look good.
You think so?
I thought so. When I was looking at it, it looked like a jagged mess.
I mean,
But
I've looked at a lot of like screenshots and stuff now of just like people taking pictures of the device, and I feel like this is the most like sophisticated piece of technology that they've made so
I'm
far.
hoping
Like
it
every
would be.
other Nintendo console or controller or whatever to me has looked like a toy, right? This thing,
The Wii U being the worst.
yeah, certainly.
example.
I mean, that is like a
Looks
Fisher
like a
Price
Playmobil,
tablet.
yeah.
Right. Fisher Price.
Fisher
Yeah.
Yeah, but this actually looks like a
The
mature.
Joy-Cons don't look like toys?
I think it has toyish features, but but I feel like there's no excess to them. You know what I mean? Like when you look at the Wii U pad, and there's all this like excess bulbous giantness weirdness
and
to
rounded
it.
Whereas
Whereas
for,
the
like,
Switch, it's like
baby
everything
proofing.
that's there has a purpose, and it's like exactly the size that it needs to be. Like I feel like once we get our hands on it, I am under the impression that we're all going to feel like it's way smaller than we had imagined.
Yeah,
you
maybe.
know?
I think on the Joy-Cons, the button and the joystick being over to the side of
That seems weird.
that seems really stupid to me. And then also the ZR and ZL buttons on the top look like little like mouse buttons that you would have, like they look so tiny.
You're
You
saying
need
using
that-
just the half controller.
right, the Joy-Con.
Yeah.
I can't
So I'm-
imagine that being the optimal experience.
Yeah,
When he was
I was
holding
gonna
it
say
too,
like
he was
they're.
like, see this? So comfortable. And I was like, that's not comfortable.
I'm gonna be honest, like I feel like that will be the least used version of it. Like while it's an option, I think that's really great, but I can't imagine anyone would like opt into playing a game that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I did read something interesting. Someone who got to try it like on the floor. He said that the most uncomfortable, like he tried all the different like permutations of like the controller.
Sure.
And the one that was the most awkward was actually the one where it was connected to the Switch
the screen?
console.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like the tablet is like a normal size. So should we run down some specs just so we're all up to speed, right? So it's like a 7-inch screen, 720p.
Yeah, it's like as big as like a DVD case, right?
Yeah, 720p when you're looking at the tablet itself, which I think is totally serviceable. Like you don't need 1080p on this little thing. Like half the resolution is going to be lost on you. Only 900p when it goes into the console.
I did read that recently,
which is really fucking backward and weird to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Like that just seems strange. What you call it? $299 for the thing, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so on the topic of the control style, like I feel like that would be weird because I feel like our minds and what we've been trained to do is hold tablets like normally, but to have these weird sort of like dongly side
it's
things
sort of
just
like-
seems awkward.
for all the Wii U's faults, like when you held that thing, it wasn't uncomfortable.
No, it felt
like
really comfortable actually.
I
Right,
kind
like-
of imagined it to feel like a Wii U.
Right. So he compared it to the Wii U, and he said, like, picture it, but it's like
too thin?
the placement. It's thinner and it's
Yeah.
heavier than the Wii U.
Yeah.
And the placement is just not quite where you'd like think it would be to be like exactly comfortable.
Well, because like even with the Wii U, there's like little grips
Yeah.
that you can get
Yeah.
on, right? Like you actually wrap your hand around it a little bit. This just seems totally flat.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
flat.
And I think the weird part, or the part that sketches me out is like if you're holding this thing, like you know that those side controllers are separate from the actual device. So like I'm super afraid of like I wonder how solid it actually feels, right? Because what if you like bend them or something? Like I just feel like that might be weird. Exactly.
It is supposed to. He also said it does snap in pretty well.
I've seen the mechanic as it slides in. There's an actual like audible and satisfying like click.
You have to
and
press a
actually goes
button
in.
to release it.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's like the Windows Surface Book, whatever.
Totally.
Anyway,
So
yeah.
continuing on the note of controllers, like I think that holding them sideways.
but I mean, you've held a 3DS XL. I feel like holding a Joy-Con controller, though it's gonna be thin, it'll probably feel like holding like a 3DS like XL. I feel like it won't be much thinner or that much less comfortable. But I do agree, like the Wii U like console, that is fatter and it makes you feel like you're holding like a controller. you
Yeah.
know? It's a little different. That's why I also
there's
feel
like less meat to
I
it.
feel like I'll feel a little uncomfortable holding the whole console in my hands.
That's
Yeah.
the other thing. He
Like-
said it was a little heavy, so you.
This
you
is
It's a lot. It's a lot. You
I'm
got in
glad
your
it
hands
has
right
more
there.
weight to it than the Wii U pad. The Wii U pad
Yeah.
literally feels like plastic
Yeah.
gonna break.
Right.
You know what I mean? One of the fun facts that I was interested in was I was listening to some impressions, and they were saying that the Pro controller. So should we talk about prices for a second of the hardware? So the device
controllers, yeah.
device itself $300, right?
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
get the 2 Joy-Cons, whatever.
You get a lot actually for $300. Like
I
Yeah,
think
they
that's
went through the list.
Sizable
a
amount of
perfect
stuff.
price. I think
Yeah.
that's the perfect price for it. I think it would be very like ambitious to think that we were going to get it for cheaper than that. Of course, everyone would like it cheaper than that, but $299 seems correct to me.
If I was them, I would have thrown in 1-2 switch into that deal.
Oh, yeah.
I
That's what I
totally
think too,
agree.
yeah.
I think it
Yeah.
should have been a definite like in the box thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Wii Sports.
Like
Like
So-
that was great.
no, I
That was
totally
a great
agree.
tech demo game.
Yeah.
So like but for the rest of the pieces, right? So it's like the extra like Joy-Cons. If you want to get 2 extra Joy-Cons, $80.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to
And separately,
me.
they're like 50,
Separately,
right?
they're 50.
Separately, they're 50, which is insane.
Which means that like that console was like $220.
Yeah.
If you really break it down.
No,
it's
abs-
80. Like
you make a really good point. Yeah,
a third of your price is your Joy-Cons.
totally.
Yeah.
And then the
That can't
Well,
be true.
there's a lot of technology that goes in the Joy-Cons too. There's like
Almost-
the HD rumble. There's also that whole
a lot of that
on
I
the
feel
right-
like is you're gonna have to feel it for yourself to really understand
Yeah.
the value of it. Like I feel like it's easy to sort of jab like, oh yeah, this.
I mean,
ice rumble
Xbox
feature.
Xbox One toted that when they launched at E3. Like they did have an HD rumble feature where it felt like a heartbeat, like from the left side
yeah,
to the
and like
right
the
side.
triggers also
And
rumbled.
there's different motors. Yeah, there's one in the hand and one in the, and it does feel good, but games don't really take advantage of that. Like sometimes the developers will throw it in for like added a little bit
Certainly, yeah.
additional like experience, but it's a weird feature to be like,
But can you squeeze
flash
the
it
Yeah,
Xbox
around?
highlight.
controller and get
And
milk?
milk a
Can you-
cow.
do you feel the udders?
Yeah.
Go all the way
The
down.
more rumbly, the more
Right.
squirty.
I'm gonna
It'll get.
stay optimistic and think that there's going to be value there, but like we'll see.
Maybe for Nintendo games.
yeah,
Maybe
but
they'll
then-
make it specifically to justify the hardware.
Developers,
like they always
but
do.
developers don't want to do extra shit.
It's
That's
like-
the whole point of the Wii
I don't
U.
think that that's something that's going to encumber a developer, though. It's just like
no,
something
well,
that's there.
I think they're just going to ignore it. Like
yeah,
the,
it'll
like,
be
like,
it'll be a
everything.
first party
like the
feature
pad on
for
the
sure.
PlayStation 4.
Yeah,
like,
again used for first party stuff.
Right.
But then the last piece is the $70 Pro controller, which is like kind of ridiculous.
I
Like
took a little bit of a step back on that. Like when Xbox and PlayStation first came out, like their controllers were
60
expensive.
more than
$60.
$60.
But the way that I look at it is that controller is more expensive than a brand new game. Like
Yes.
the way that I think about that is like that's kind of crazy to me. You know what I mean? Like
And they
And
also
it doesn't even have a headphone jack.
Well, then,
Yeah.
does it?
no.
Does
the
it?
controller does, the console does.
No, the console does, but the controller doesn't.
Oh.
We'll get into the voice chat a little
Yeah.
bit later.
Yeah. I guess the weird thing too, and this deals with the online services as well. Nintendo does not have a proven track record of giving us like good controllers.
Yeah.
I feel like,
Yeah.
like
Since GameCube.
since GameCube, like sure we get the Wiimotes and
Even
you
the
know,
GameCube one was like weird.
It was
like,
weird, but
so to come up with
Some
the
people love it. I personally hated it.
and the
Yeah,
Pro
I mean,
It's black licorice.
They did have a
people
Pro
love it.
controller,
I
like,
did not.
specific-
yeah.
like Wii U had a Pro controller, it was all right.
Well, and this is sort of what I wanted to
It
get
had two
to.
joysticks all the way on the top.
Yeah, which was super,
super
weird.
dumb.
But this
All
this
right.
is kind of this is kind of what I wanted to get to just from like mentioning the accessories, right? So
Yeah.
I'm hearing people talk about the different control styles, and apparently like there's still a very clear gap between the Pro controller and like a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One controller. Like they still say on the spectrum, like the Switch Pro controller is still
like
dead
way back.
last.
Yeah.
It's like totally not anywhere near as good as those other two
The
controllers.
triggers look like shit.
Yeah, no, they look
I don't know
totally
if you- that's-
whack, right?
I didn't even look
real-
at them.
And
Like,
then-
why do they look bad? Like, what's wrong with them?
They're not.
They look like buttons.
What are
They're
they-
not
yeah.
triggers. They look like
Ah,
buttons.
boo.
Yeah.
Boo.
Um,
what?
But
Boo.
so this
Grow up.
this leads to the next interesting fact, which is that the grip, the little weird thing that you slide the controllers in, apparently that works just as well, if not better, than the Pro controller. So the Pro controller is sort of like
I actually like the
weird.
look of the
This
grip thing,
this
the
is
power
what I've
grip.
heard.
I mean,
I've heard
I feel like I wanted a Pro controller until I found out how much it cost, and I was like, I'll totally settle.
And that's what. Yeah.
For
I
that
completely,
thing,
I
yeah,
completely agree with
absolutely
that.
I heard something weird today. That the
charging.
yes.
Yeah.
Wait,
So
I didn't hear this.
All right, you tell it.
okay, so the the Switch console when you
Not yet.
when you purchase it, you get the Switch device, the dock, 2 Joy-Cons, all your cables, and the grip accessory that you slide the controllers in, right?
Right.
So the one that comes in the console does not charge your controllers. It is just a
What?
plastic insert. If you want one,
What?
if you want one that charges your controllers, you need to buy the separate one that's $30 in order for that to work.
And there's nothing you can buy to plug into the one that they
Why?
give you to charge it.
It's literally-
it's a
cheaper?
totally different piece of technology.
It's a plastic docking bed.
Yeah, it's a
when
plastic
you-
dock thing.
So what? How are the controllers charged? How are the Joy-Cons charged?
So the Joy-Cons
in the
charge when
thing?
they're in the Switch. When they're in the actual device, they charge. And then I think with the charging grip, you would plug the grip in like a normal controller that has its own battery. And then when you put the Joy-Cons in, then they charge.
Or you can charge it physically with the Udder game. And
Like those flash.
yeah,
But
exactly.
but that's just such a weird, like, I mean, what did you think about when you heard that? Like, it sounds like such a stupid oversight to me. Like, just
That's not
Well,
an
it feels
oversight.
like no, right?
That's
like,
not an oversight. Like Nintendo has been known to like make proprietary fucking power like AC adapter plugs for all of their shit. Like for instance, my Wii U plug doesn't work with my 3DS XL plug or
Yeah.
any of them actually.
and
Like
if you
they're
buy,
all different. If you
and
buy
if
like
you
a
buy
3DS,
a new 3DS, it doesn't even come with a charger.
it doesn't even come. You need the proprietary
Seriously?
shit,
Yeah.
and then people are
because
like,
they
oh.
think like you've had the previous one, so you can just use that charger. So
Yeah, you have to buy that separately, and guess what? It's like 20 fucking bucks.
Yeah.
see, this is.
Sorry for
I feel
cursing.
like
I
this is
apologize. I
what
feel like
this
I
is.
cursed too much.
This is all intentional. You know, like we're
Oh,
being
yeah. But
see, like,
misled.
Well, see,
People are saying like they threw in the USB-C thing because they're coming up to like modern
the way of
day.
the future.
Right, it's the way of the future, and they're like not worried.
people know
about,
that USB-C is not a standard format right now. It's a standard
Hold on.
format, but like most people don't just have
I don't
USB-C
have one.
lying around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I exactly. No,
Yeah.
you just ruined my argument.
But
Oh, sorry.
it will be the standard though.
right,
Eventually.
the way of the
eventually,
future.
it's the way of the future.
Yeah.
But no, it's sad to me. Like I didn't. That is.
It's
I was
mind-blowing, right?
expecting that's just a piece of plastic. It's
Yeah,
not even
that's-
a charging dock for the
Yeah,
stupid.
I was assuming that you'd be able to plug that into the console through one of its USB ports, charge
And
that,
then you
and
could
then
just
charge
buy
it
a piece of
separately.
plastic
But
and
if I-
tape them on.
So one thing we
But if I buy that power grip thing, I'm gonna have a piece of plastic sitting on the side that I'm never gonna use.
Yeah.
there is an important piece of information that we don't know, or I don't know. It's how long the Joy-Cons last outside of the
Yeah, I'm not
outside
sure.
of the mothership.
I don't think they've told us that yet.
So that was something that we were
That's
talking
important.
about
Yeah.
on Discord while this was happening, which was before we thought that the power grip wasn't a power grip. Like before we knew that, right? It was
Yeah.
like, so you're playing Zelda, right? And you're playing it on the big screen TV, and you're sitting there, you're like leaning back, your
holding them
shoulders are-
separately.
Your
Yeah.
shoulders are
People
relaxed.
love that
Yeah.
you, like hold your.
And
Yeah.
yeah, right. And you're playing it separately, and then your controllers start to die, and you're like, oh well, shit. Now I gotta plug it. You plug it in, and you take out the thing to play, and that only lasts for 2.5 hours. So you're actually like limited to how long you can play anything on the Nintendo, just until your Joy-Cons die, and then you have.
Well, I
to wait
mean,
for
this
that.
is why I think people wanted to
shit.
charge.
Because it's limited.
Wait,
It's-
no, it's true.
There
Like,
is no wired option.
well, there is. It's wired if you're playing it
if you
like
plug
this,
the
and then you
Switch
plug it
in and have the Joy-Cons hooked up to
No,
it.
but
And
so if you're
everything
playing
charges.
if you're playing on the TV,
yeah, no.
You can't
Unless you
the power
have
grip
this
thing.
charging grip.
But then even that
and then
charging
plug it in.
grip, unless that has a plug, which I hope to get,
I'm
probably has
sure
to.
it has to, because
Right.
that has to maintain its own charge.
can you
where you
can you not charge the Joy-Cons with like micro?
I'm not
They
sure.
don't have their own.
They don't have their own
plugs.
jacks. You know, you need it to
They don't look
slide
like
into
they
a
have
thing.
jacks.
I'm
It's
pretty
ju-
sure.
it's just weird. It's just, and part of me is thinking like, so we're talking about like this value prop.
And
with
imagine if those Joy-Cons had like the power supply of like the PlayStation 4 controllers, but they probably won't because they're tinier.
yeah,
Would they? Oh my god!
yeah.
Why did
turn
I buy
off-
4 of these
Maybe we
things?
can turn off the ice cube feature.
Right?
or the camera in the bottom of it, which is super weird. It's so bizarre. My thought with this whole thing, and like with the costs of all the controllers and stuff, is that they must be losing or getting $0 for each Switch console that they sell, because I don't know one person that's getting the Switch and just the Switch. They're definitely getting another controller, one of these peripherals, a Pro controller, or something.
Specifically say we are not selling the Switch at a loss. I mean, technically,
well, they're probably
it could be zero.
Yeah,
but
I'm guessing that it's zero, and they're trying to make up all of their money with these peripherals and stuff. So
Just want to make sure the camera's okay. Go on.
We're okay.
Okay.
Another minute.
It seems odd that as like well priced as the console is, everything else seems so overpriced.
Yeah.
Somebody, I forgot, maybe it was Arlo or something. Some YouTuber brought this up, but if they took out all the shitty features that nobody's ever gonna want, like the waggling and the fucking whatever this
rock,
fucking
paper,
shit
scissor.
is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If they took
Switch.
all that stuff out, the Switch would be like,
It probably would
would
hit
go-
that $250 price point easily.
It would go way
Easily.
down.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Yeah. maybe
Or it's
not
just
way
sort of
down,
what
but
I
it
was
would
talking
go
about
down.
before, or like, I mean, podcasts ago. Like, take that shit out, but then put more in to get it back up to 300. That makes it more of a quality console.
Yeah, right.
Totally.
Yeah.
maybe they
Resource
can't.
allocation.
Maybe this is the best they can do. So they're adding all these other things because they can't compete. on
Quantity
power.
over quality.
Well, they can't get that quality, so we're just gonna give you all this other stuff to try to make up for
yeah.
it.
I
To
also
like
don't-
make it special and make it
feel like this is-
make it different than having an Xbox or a
Yeah,
PlayStation.
this
You get
is
all this cool
Nintendo's
stuff with
attempt.
Nintendo.
it's just a lot of variety. Like, they could have something
Here,
different
cool
than
Nintendo.
they could have something different than Xbox and PlayStation and still be like, but do that one thing well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, to Alex's point, if they literally just focused solely on the portability,
Yeah, that's their thing. That's
that
the
would-
cool thing.
even if
Yeah.
it had the touchscreen, I'm cool with the touchscreen. That's fine. But if they were just to have that and the controllers being like HD Rumble, that's fine. Just take out all the other shit.
I was not
Yeah.
expecting the motion thing.
Yeah.
I
Well, I
kinda-
mean,
I kinda
we'll have to
was,
see
but-
what sort of games like Nintendo
Maybe
releases
maybe
that
the
will.
things,
like,
maybe
I wasn't
something
surprised.
besides the 1-2 Switch will come out of it.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be revolutionary. Maybe it'll change.
Speaking-
Grow up, Nintendo.
Speaking of one
Grow
two
up.
Switch, I mean,
Jesus.
all of this stuff sort of hinges on what games we're going to see with it. So why don't we talk about some of the games there, right?
Yeah.
Before we move on,
Do you want to
one
give
quick
us
one quick note.
What?
Yes, I'm sure Liz will love this. The storage, I do not like storage. 32 gigabytes.
Oh,
32
No,
gigs,
but it's
but you
got
can
micro-
upgrade
yeah.
to 2 terabytes.
I know, but
Yeah, but then it's another thing you gotta buy.
yeah,
Yeah.
like Xbox, you
yeah.
can buy an Xbox that has 2 terabytes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
At
that's why the price is so
350
low, because storage is so
At a
weak.
premium, but I feel like, Nintendo, like you'll.
It's only $100. I mean, you put
Grow up, Nintendo.
that's the size of my phone.
Just I don't know. I mean, 32 gigs is how many games can you? How can you play Skyrim on 32 gigs?
I don't know.
which is a $60 game.
who's gonna
Yeah.
play? I thought.